Hello, YouTube. I hope you had a fabulous Saturday in spite of this ridiculously cold weather. I hope you snuggling up with your boo thing, with your family. I hope you have heat in your apartment. I thank God for heat every day. My bedroom has a chill because the air conditioner has been put in improperly, and so I ordered something from DoorDash Home Depot and it was the wrong stuff. And actually, the people from NYCHA, they actually offered to put wood in my window, or brick or whatever, and I declined. I don't know why I did that. But as a result of that, I'm getting like a draft, and the stuff is in the window, but because it wasn't installed properly, I'm not a professional. That draft is coming in. But I do have a heater. I thank God for that. Um, yeah, so I just thank God for heat. So many people don't have heat. I remember growing up, and the Bronx stay on the news, and people apartments would be so cold in NYCHA apartments in the Bronx that they would sleep with winter coats on and put the oven on. That's sad. I can't imagine what that's like. I remember 2018. I didn't have heat in my apartment for like a week, and I had to go to my parents' house. It was that cold in here. Like I couldn't. It was cold in here with a coat on, so I had to go to my parents for a week. And I would take him to school, and then I went to work. And at the time, I was working in my neighborhood, so it was cool. But yeah, I remember. It was only a week, but it was like it was crazy. And then it came back on. But I just thank God every day for heat because some people don't have it. But today I wanted to talk I want to talk to people of all ages because I was thinking about it today and I was like, you know what? I need to make a YouTube video of this. And I wanted to talk about verbal abuse that starts from childhood, and there's people that's adults as old as 80 that think that it's normal, and it's not. Um so when you're in school and a boy bothers you, or a girl that bothers a boy, or whatever, um, some people say, oh, that person likes you. When I was a kid, I never believed that. The boys that liked me was nice to me, and that's why having positive adults in your life are important, because people are accustomed to what they know. And I was talking to my son about that, about a coworker. There's certain things that she does. And I'm like, at my big age, I'm going to be 37 this year, you know, um, I'm learning to be understanding of people. Like, of course, I have my standards, my boundaries, and I'll be quick to cut somebody off if they cross me. But what I'm also learning about people is people only know what they know. So, my family, for example, and it's not to boast myself, but we are very loving, we are very gracious, and we are not cheap towards each other. So, I can go out with either of my cousins, my uncle, his wife, my dad, and I know that the bill is covered. I know that they have money. I know that they're not going to be cheap towards me. Now, some of you might say, oh, well, that's your family. Of course, they're going to hold you down. Not so. So you have people that when they go out with a cousin, father, whatever, they pay for themselves and the person pays for their self. So for me, that doesn't make sense because that's like low key selfish. Or you have people who they'll go and they'll get takeout food, for example. And they know that they live with people, but they only getting food for themselves. And you have people, and I'm sure there's somebody watching this that think that that's perfectly fine. Like, yeah, if I'm tired from work, what's wrong with me getting something to eat and nothing for my family? That's selfishness, right? That's not right. And so I'm happy that my father taught me whatever's in this house is for everybody, right? Just in general. And I don't have siblings, but I was always taught to share. You're not supposed to be stingy towards people. You're not supposed to be mean towards people. You're supposed to be giving. And also, let me put something in there, as a Christian, right? You should be a giver. You shouldn't be looking for monetary things constantly. But I feel like people, it comes from upbringing. So if you don't come from a gracious, giving family, you're not going to be giving, right? It's not in you, right? So that's what I'm learning, that everyone's raised differently. And so people do what they know. And so I have to learn to, like, okay, maybe they wasn't, like, I have a homegirl, and she recently told me a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, she was like, oh, certain things about her mother taught her that. I said, that's understandable, but you got to look at your mom. Like, you don't want to be like that. You know that's negative, and you shouldn't do that. And she's, low-key selfish. Now, over the years, she's learned to be more giving, whatever, and I had to teach her that. But that comes from home. That comes from upbringing. So you have people that have these traditions and whatever, because they're very selfish. So it's like, it's like it's upbringing. And so also, when I'm talking about, like, abuse and mental abuse and verbal abuse, a lot of people think that that's okay or it's cute because that's what they saw growing up. So somebody insulting them about their weight or something like that, they're like, oh, they're just joking. No, like, why are you tolerating that? Where does that come from? Childhood, right? So when you are teaching a child that when they go to school and when the opposite sex is bothering them, they like them, you know what happens? They get older, and when they become adults, they think, oh, he loves me. So if he love you, why he treating you like that? Why is he, you know what I'm saying? It becomes normal because that's what they told you as a kid. And I remember being a para, and I remember the girls were bothering this particular boy, but me and the teachers will always we would let them know, like, stop bothering him. Because they would, you had some teachers, particularly the math teacher, was mean to him because he never had a pencil. She's like, oh, I don't understand why this boy never have a pencil. And I'm like, what's the big deal? Because when I went to school, right, if you didn't have, like, for me, I was a very responsible kid. My father always made sure I had all my supplies. However, things happen. You could lose something, whatever. But in my school that I went to, elementary and high school, it wasn't a big deal. Like, if you didn't have a pen or a pencil, somebody give you one. Teacher, you know what I'm saying? So me being a para and seeing that in public school, it was just weird to me because I'm like, why y'all so, like, I didn't get it, right? Because in charter school too, like elementary and junior high, they give the kids school supplies. Like, they give it to them, books, pencils. Like, we pay taxes. So I just never understood, like, we pay taxes, charter is privately funded, but for DOE to, like, they generate so much money, y'all don't even know. Like, DOE got daycares. DOE got stuff y'all don't have no clue about. DOE makes money. So it's like, I never understood that, like, the classrooms and the kids don't have supplies. What's going on? Like, that don't make sense. But so he's a little boy, right? He's a little boy in 5th grade. By the time he's grown, he got all these women being mean to him. By the time he start dating, he going to think that's normal. He going, his teacher mean, the girls in the school. His mother, he was like, oh, my mom said y'all like me. That means y'all like me. And I told him, I said, no, They are mean to you, and they are wrong for what they're doing. And I would tell them, leave him alone. Him not having a pencil, what that got to do with you? And they were doing that because they was piggybacking off the teacher energy. The teacher would embarrass him, and I didn't like it. He would come late, and instead of saying, hey, good morning, how you doing, you know, that's how you supposed to do it. And then have a conversation with the mother. What's the problem? Like, I'll never forget when my son was in pre-K. I didn't know that I was dropping him off late. Like, they literally never told me the time. So finally at the end of the school year, they like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be. I said, but y'all never said that though. Y'all are weird. And I said that to them. Y'all are weird. Like, so I've been dropping my son off at this time. Y'all never said it was a problem. So, and what they do is they don't talk to the parents, and then they just think that the parents just no. That's why people can say what they want about charter school, and yes, they do have their flaws, but they communicate everything. Like, I'm a type of person, you have to tell me stuff. You can't just assume that I know. I was a first-time young mother, and I could truly say that I became the parent that I am. Charter school kind of helped me out being a parent, because being a parent, it don't come with instructions unless if people are guiding you along, and that's the true hardcore facts. None of us have it all together. We learn as we go. So you, as a educator, you supposed to let the parent know, hey, like with my son's school, they told us put the babies to bed when he was in elementary. They said 7:30 is their bedtime, because they have a very long day. They're in school from 7 to 4. They have homework, this and that. Children need their sleep, right? So I put my son to bed at 7:30 because that's what they said. Naturally, as he got older, I want to say like 11 or 12, I was like, okay, 9 or 10. And then now he's 17, he doesn't have a curfew, he's 17. But yeah, so I got that guidance from the school. Now my parents, they was pretty cool in how they raised me, but one thing that they did that I didn't allow my son to do is they used to let me watch TV after school. And I still got my homework done and stuff like that, but that's not a good habit. So when I had my son, I didn't allow that. And why? The school said it. Do not let your children watch TV during the week or whatever. And also, he got out of school so late, 4 o'clock. We get home, homework done, whatever. By the time he eat, it's time to get ready for bed anyway, So, yeah, like I feel like I got out of school at 3. So it's like an hour difference between when I was a kid and him. But, yeah. But that's stuff that I had to learn on the way, right? So, and I wanted to put it out there that teachers, sometimes they do bully in the classroom without realizing it, and then the kids pick up on that. So I remember with the boy, they would just be like, oh, you always late. And I'm like, damn, he's a little kid. Like, he's in 5th grade. Like I just couldn't understand that. Like, why can't y'all just talk to the parent? And I said that. Why can't y'all just talk to the mom and pull her to the side? Maybe she doesn't understand that bringing a child to school on time. Like, you have to understand, like, stuff be generational. Like my mom was on time with me, but I didn't understand the time of school or whatever until his teachers and everybody told me. Like, they was like, listen, they do community meeting, they do this and breakfast and da-da-da-da-da. We close the door at 7:30. Like, they don't play in charter school. So I was like, oh, okay. And also, once I started working in the mornings, because that was another thing. So, I remember being a parent telling people this. I was like, well, maybe the mother is tired in the morning. Like, I remember when my son was in pre-K, I was doing security. I was tired. Like, It's hard. I don't think people take under thing. It's very hard to wake up in the morning. Very, very hard. And I have to push myself to be on time for work. I'm on time for work because I have to push myself. From the time I was a young child, I would 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, and I do that in my adult life. So if I know it takes me 30 minutes to get ready for work, I allow an hour to get up out of bed. So like, or close to an hour. So it takes me, I have to leave home no later than 8:23 to be on time for work. But I try to leave no later than 8:10 because sometimes the train is delayed. So I try to, like, my alarm is set for 7:15. I don't get out of bed till 7:30. I snooze because I've been doing that since childhood, right? I have to push myself to get up in the morning. And I just hate them. It's just, I don't know what it is about the morning, but I just hate mornings. I really do. And I've always been like that my whole life. So when I see a child walking in, and for me, I was always early for school. My mother would take me early because she's an early bird. My mom half of the time doesn't sleep. Like, my mom don't sleep at night. So for her, she up all night anyway, and she would just take me, to school. She's an early bird. Like, she does. My mother's the type of person. My father too. I think it's that generation, baby boomer. But they the type of people, they will wake up 6 in the morning to do laundry. Don't let that laundry mat be open. They will wake up 6 o'clock in the morning to do laundry and groceries early, right? For me, I'm gonna do it when I do it. Now, for me, I do laundry a little bit earlier because since COVID, they close at 8:30, and so I make sure I do it no later than 4. And I try to tell my son, he be doing it last minute. Like, I'm like, no, you can't wait till 6 o'clock and the man gonna lock the door on you. You don't want that. But yeah, like, not everybody's an early bird. So I just never understood. Like, they would get on him, like, you late every day. Da 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 da. You don't do your homework. You don't never have no pencil. So then the kids are picking up that energy, and then they start treating him like that. And it's like, damn, like, even though it's not really, I wouldn't say they bullied him, but they like treated him differently. So he's gonna grow up thinking that that's normal. And you have I know so many women, so many men, so many people in general, they think that verbal abuse is cute. Like, oh, they didn't mean it. Like, what? You can't come out your face towards me. And it has nothing to do with being sensitive. Watch your mouth, because one thing about people, they don't do it with everybody. The disrespect they show you, they don't do that to everybody. So it's good to, like, put your foot down. And that's the message I wanted to convey today, is that don't allow disrespect, and disrespect is not cool. I'm going to end with this story. So when I was in 8th grade, this boy, his name was Terrence, he used to bother me all the time. Like, all the time. I don't remember what the things that he would say, but he would always bother me. And I remember what I said to him, and I remember my teacher's response, because it just didn't to this day, it doesn't make sense to me. So Terrence would bother me every day, and we would go back and forth, and I defended myself. But one day I was like, I gotta say something to just so he could leave me alone. Now, some of y'all might get mad at me for this and call me colorist. So I was like, I gotta think. I have nothing against dark-skinned people. I just want to say that. But this boy was getting on my nerves. You have to understand, he was getting on my case every day. It didn't matter. I sat down. He had something to say. He used to call me white girl. I'm not even that light-skinned, but because of my mannerisms and the way I talk, the school I went to was very ignorant. In Queens, they all lived in nice houses, but they was the most ghetto people I ever met. So they used to call me white girl. And when I say they, it was like 2 or 3 people. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, first of all, I'm more hood than y'all. I'm from East New York. Second of all, I know how to switch it up, but my mannerisms and the way I talk, I can't help it. It's You can't help the way, and I was explaining that to my son today too. Like, some people, they cannot help the way they talk and the way they express themselves, because you mimic what you see and what you're around. If your parents speak proper English, you're going to speak proper English. Now, if you're around, a different circle, then that's different. But anyway, so he would pick on me, pick on me, pick on me, pick on me. Finally, I was like, shut the fuck up, you black tar. Right? Because I was like, what can I say to let this boy leave me the fuck alone? Right? So he smacks me in the face. Another boy that was a mutual friend of ours, and that's when I learned at a very young age. This was 8th grade. I do not trust people who are mutual friends. You either they friend or my friend. You can't be our friend, because this person is making my life hell, and you just, right? I never had a problem with people before, but I was the new girl. These kids, half of them couldn't read. It was ghetto, girl. Anyway, so Joel, which was our mutual, he was friends with him and friends with me. He was holding me back. I was like, yo, let me get my hip back. Oh, yo. I'm like, you up, yo. So back then we ain't say op, but I'm like, yo, you an enemy now, because what, like, you saw the man hit me and you're holding me back. You holding me back? Like, no, Crystal, no. And so my teacher, Mr. Smith, he was the social studies teacher. He's the same complexion as him, dark skin, whatever. He's a black male. And this is the part that I couldn't get with. He was like, oh, well, because he knew the situation. I think, because even at a young age, I always kept it real. He was like, well, why did he smack you? I was like, because I called him Black Tar. He's like, well, you shouldn't have called him that. So basically, he was condoning the violence. I did not hit him. Now, it's different if I hit him and he's hitting me back. He has a right to defend himself, right? We always say don't hit women. But if a woman hits you and she has a weapon, it's ways to, like, you could squeeze somebody's arm or hand or whatever. But sometimes, yeah. I did not hit him, right? So, what the hell? He was bothering me. It's not even like I came out my face and said that. He was bothering me. And no matter what I said to him, he just kept at it. Finally, when I called him a black tar, he left me alone, though, right? After that incident, that was it. So, I said all that to say this. The teacher condoned it. The teacher didn't see anything wrong with what he did. And that's one thing I hate about my personality, is that I wait. It takes me a long time to get mad, and people, and not even what I hate about my personality, but one thing I've learned is people, oh, damn, Crystal, you doing too much. How I'm doing too much in this motherfucker, da, da, da. That's why I stay to myself. That's why but yeah, so he probably, I don't know what he's doing in life. He's not on Facebook, whatever. But I wonder what type of man he became. Maybe he changed, it was only 8th grade. But I wonder about that. Like, does he hit women? Is he, and then my teacher, Mr. Smith, he actually left my school to be a DOE teacher, and I don't blame him, because DOE has benefits and stuff like that. And my school wasn't paying him nothing but 10 grand a year. Nobody could live off of that, not even back in 2003, But yeah, people do what they know. People do what they know, and I'm sure there's little girls that grow up and they allow men to criticize their weight and criticize, because that's what they're used to as a little girl, right? Like somebody calling you fat, oh, he like you, and then they end up marrying the person. And it's like, huh? You got, and people do it all the time. Like, people are very insensitive and cruel. And you be like, watch your motherfucking mouth. Like, who are you talking to? They've been doing it their whole life, and they're taught that it's okay. I'm here to say verbal abuse is not okay, right? Like they say, abuse is not okay. Verbal abuse is not okay. Emotional abuse is not okay. If somebody's making you feel less than, talk to them about it. And if they don't change, you know, they don't care about you. I'm talking to my children. I'm talking to my adults. I'm talking to everybody in this video, right? Check those people that step out of bounds. And those are my thoughts.